Hello, my dear students. Welcome to my class. I, Dr. Swati Pandya, welcomes you. So, students, let us revise the last session's topic. It was about spermatogenesis. We have seen that from 2n, that is diploid spermatogonia, how the spermatids they are formed, how the spermatozoa they are formed, which can be also known as sperm. So, diploid cell that is converted into haploid one. And here particularly the whole process it has differentiated. It can be described under three phases. These three phases they can be categorized as the multiplication phase, the growth phase, and lastly maturation phase. And similar type of concept we will see when we learn about oogenesis. Let us start today's topic. This is the continuation of the same topic, spermatogenesis. Actually, this process it starts at the age of puberty, and due to significant increase in secretions of gonadotropin releasing hormone, it can be written in short as this GnRH, gonadotropin releasing hormone. And this hormone it is released from hypothalamus in the structure of brain, and the reference of this topic we will get from endocrine system. So all the hormones their functionality that we have learned in endocrine system. Still again you want to take the revision, then you can refer to this chapter of endocrine system. So hypothalamic hormone it will increase the increased level of this hormone then acts on anterior pituitary lobe. So this anterior pituitary lobe it stimulates the secretion of these two hormones. What are these two hormones? These are luteinizing hormone, which is shortly written as LH, and follicle stimulating hormone known as FSH. Both combinedly they can be commonly known as gonadotropins, because gonads we are uh, naming or designating these testes and ovaries as gonads. So the hormones which are released by them they are known as gonadotropins. Here LH, that is luteinizing hormone, it acts on Leydig cells and stimulates the synthesis as well as secretion of androgens. Androgens basically they are the hormones which are released by testes. That is the male reproductive part. So androgens in return stimulates the process of spermatogenesis. So we are discussing the same process, spermatogenesis. So basically androgen is responsible all the activities that is preferred by the release of androgens. Another hormone FSH it acts on Sertoli cells and stimulates the secretion of some factors which help in the process of spermiogenesis. Another process, spermiogenesis. These two terms are very confusing, students. Please mind it. Spermatogenesis and spermiogenesis. Their meaning is totally different. They are totally different terms. What do you mean by spermiogenesis? That is that we have discussed earlier, that is spermiation. So the release of sperms, that is actually known as spermiation. Now let us see how the original structure of sperm it looks like. So this is the detailed structure of sperm, and this diagram that is compulsory to draw in your classwork with all these labels. Basically, if we see the structure of sperm, it has three parts. They are first head, which is at the anteriormost portion. This is denoted as head, followed by middle piece, the central area, this one, that is middle piece, and lastly a long tail. Tail is helpful for motility, that is swimming or movement, which is very much required for fertilization. Actually, the sperm has to travel from male reproductive tract to outside the body, and it enters into the female genital tract to just fertilize with ovum. So for this movement, the tail plays very important role. Let us see the importance of the other two parts. First, we'll discuss about head. The sperm head, it contains an elongated haploid nucleus. You can see here, this is the nucleus part, nucleus containing chromosomal material. So haploid nucleus, and the anterior portion of which is covered by a cap-like structure. So this portion is cap-like structure, which is known as acrosome. This is an important term. Many short questions can be asked. Even this topic is important, and many time it has been asked in board exams also. So this acrosome, actually it is filled with enzymes which are very much necessary for fertilization of ovum. And basically the enzyme is hyaluronidase. So that facilitates the entry of sperm into the ovum. So acrosome has its own importance, which is located at the tip of the head. Then we talk about middle piece. The middle piece, it possesses numerous amount of mitochondria which produces energy for the movement of tail. And you just see here, this mitochondria, they are spirally arranged. Like this they are present. So this portion, that is mitochondria, is the necessary for production of energy, and here numerous amount of energy is required. That is why, because the sperm is related to movement, and with the help of tail it will move, but energy is provided by mitochondria, which is acting as energy source for swimming. The human male actually ejaculates about 200 to 300 million sperms during the coitus, of which for normal fertility at least 60% of sperm must have normal shape and size, and at least 40% of them must show vigorous motility. Now, important line, this is only for information. The sperms which are released from seminiferous tubules. So seminiferous tubules, earlier all these terms we have cleared up. Still, if you are not remembering, you can revise the previous sessions. So from the seminiferous tubules, they are transported to the accessory ducts. So from seminiferous tubules to accessory ducts, the sperms, they are transferred. Secretions of epididymis, which is very much highly coiled structure just on the top of the testes. So secretions of epididymis then carried onward to vas deferens, followed by seminal vesicle and the prostate glands. They are very much essential for maturation and motility of sperms. So these glands, seminal vesicle and prostate glands, they are also pouring their secretions for uh, helping the sperms to swim and reach up to their destination. The seminal plasma along with the sperms constitute the semen. The functions of male sex accessory ducts and glands are maintained by the testicular hormones, which are known as androgens. So androgens play an important role in all these events. So here we will be completing the process of spermatogenesis. We have completed in two parts. Now next topic, it is equally important, and sometimes the comparison between spermatogenesis and oogenesis is also asked many times. So you better understand this topic in comparative way also. So this is also included in gametogenesis, because gametogenesis here the female gamete will be produced or synthesized. So here we are calling oogenesis the development of ovum, or it is the process of formation of mature female gamete in the ovaries. And oogenesis, I must tell you, the oogenesis process is markedly different from spermatogenesis in many ways. First of all, learn about it and then compare by yourself. Actually, oogenesis is initiated during the embryonic development stage, when a female child is in its mother's womb. Then and there only, the couple of millions of these gamete mother cells, which are known as oogonia, they are formed within each fetal ovary. And no more oogonia are formed and added after birth. So, whatever number that is decided during the embryonic stage, during the fetal stage, that is fixed up to the end of its uh, reproductive age. So, these cells they start division, means we are talking about oogonia. These cells they start division and enter into prophase 1, that is prophase 1 of meiotic division, and they get temporarily arrested at that stage. So this we can say it will take a pause up till the puberty comes. So the pause will come at primary oocyte stage, right? So oogonia, they will enter into prophase 1, and then at primary oocytes it will take a pause. Now each primary oocyte then gets surrounded by a layer of granulosa cells, and then now it is known as primary follicle. A large number of these follicles degenerate during the phase from birth to the puberty. Therefore, at the puberty, only 60,000 to 80,000 primary follicles are left in each ovary. Each and every word and line is important. बहुत सारी ऐसी बातें हैं जो आपको बहुत ध्यान से सुननी है, ध्यान से समझनी है और याद भी रखनी है. Especially in biology, I must tell you students that many times the questions they are asked, they are picked from these line to line word meanings. So each and every line is important to remember. कौन सा क्वेश्चन कहाँ से उठा के पूछेंगे आप नहीं बता सकते, और कभी कभी थोड़ा ट्विस्ट करने के लिए ऐसे सब ट्रिकी सेंटेंसेस आपको पूछे जाते हैं. सो थोड़े याद रखने हैं आपको, ठीक है. सो हियर large number of these follicles they degenerate during the phase from birth to the puberty, and at puberty only 60,000 to 80,000 primary follicles they are left in each ovary. The primary follicles get surrounded by more layers of granulosa cells, and a new theca means layer, they are formed, and now this primary follicle is known as secondary follicle. So बहुत सारी layers उसके ऊपर develop होंगी primary follicles के ऊपर, and now it is known as secondary follicle. So here you can see we have started with oogonia. Mitosis is going on. So multiplication phase जैसे हमने spermatogenesis में भी समझा था. This is at fetal life, when the female child is in the mother's womb. This process is going on there, and at primary oocyte it will reach. Then the first meiotic division, completed prior to the ovulation. So here from birth, childhood, and then puberty. So this is the resting stage. And now we have reached up to this secondary follicle or secondary oocyte. Don't be confused with the terms. And now this secondary oocyte, it will be converted into ovum. And here, this is a comparative point. In the previous spermatogenesis process, we have seen that in this way, all these four cells, they have developed into the sperms individually. But in oogenesis, this is one of the differentiating point, that all the four, it will not develop into ovum. Rather, in first division, first meiotic division, the first polar body will develop. Only the another will develop further into secondary oocyte. And again, the second polar body will develop. Only out of four, only single cell will develop. So this is also an comparative point, and this process occurs in adult reproductive life. So fetal life, first phase, then from birth, childhood, and up to puberty, and then after adult reproductive life. So this is a comparatively different type of process as compared to spermatogenesis. Now let us see what happens to secondary follicle. The secondary follicle soon transforms into tertiary follicle, which is characterized by a fluid filled cavity known as antrum. So you can see here, these are primary follicles, then the theca they are developed, the layers they are formed, आप देख सकते हैं, layers they are developed, then a cavity develops here, and this is the cavity which is prominently seen. So tertiary follicle showing antrum. So this cavity is known as antrum. Okay. Now the theca layer, that is organized into inner theca interna and outer theca externa. जब आप बहुत डिटेल में इसका स्ट्रक्चर देखोगे तब आपको दिखेगा. So inner layer and outer layer like this. So inner layer is known as inner theca interna and outer theca externa. Theca is nothing but it is the name of layer. It is important to draw our attention that it is at this stage that primary oocyte within the tertiary follicle grows in size and complete its first meiotic division. So here now the first meiotic division will be completed, which was arrested previously here. So it was arrested here and now it will be completing over within this phase. It is an unequal division which is resulting in the formation of large haploid secondary oocytes and a tiny first polar body. So I have shown you earlier how the polar body they are formed. Now the secondary oocyte retain bulk of the nutrient which is rich in cytoplasm of primary oocyte. Now at present, we are not very certain about this, but the tertiary follicle further changes into mature follicle or known as Graafian follicle. So within this, some development they take place, and now this stage is known as Graafian follicle. This diagram is also important to draw, and sometimes the questions which are based on diagram, they can be asked, either labeling or identification like this. So this structure is known as Graafian follicle. This one. This is antrum. Okay. Now the secondary oocyte forms a new membrane called zona pellucida, which surrounds it. So we are talking about this The Graafian follicle now ruptures. So next phase, this phase shows the rupturing of Graafian follicle just to release the secondary oocyte, which is nothing but it is an ovum. This is an ovum, and this shows the rupturing of Graafian follicle. So this release of ovum is known as ovulation. It is a very important event, ovulation. So this Graafian follicle ruptures and ovum will be released out. So this process is known as ovulation. So today we have learned many things regarding structure of sperm, regarding oogenesis process, and today we will end our session here only. Do revise these two topics, they are very important point of board exams, and even in unit test I think it will be helpful for you. So please revise it, and if you are having any doubt you can ask me anytime. Take care. Goodbye, my dear students.